I wanted to make a fun video on this Sydney Sweeney jeans commercial phenomenon that's happening right now. It marks with a lot of astrology, and I even looked at her chart, but it also marks with her numerology. There's a phenomenon here that we can use for our advantage. So let's kind of get into this because I feel like this ties in because it is an energy of going viral. Gemini is media. Gemini oversees the third house in astrology, and third house is also like journalism, media, ideas, information. Now, they're two different things, but they have congruent concepts here. So Gemini is Mercury, and Mercury is going to be all things media, social media, even advertisements, currency, things moving fast, short journeys, short trips. I call it Gemini, I kind of call it the short form content. Hey, here's a couple of comedy sketches as opposed to a long 3-part trilogy movie or, some little magazine articles versus a novel. The articles would be Gemini, kind of overseeing the energy of Gemini. But Gemini is communications. Before I say that, Uranus Uranus can just be sudden, profoundly impactful change. And when harnessed appropriately and aligned correctly, it's sudden changes for the better that's making your life better. So look into that and how that's playing into you. And that's more important. The Sydney Sweeney phenomenon just has manifested in ways that are very accurate to a lot of these aspects and what I've been teaching. But remember my story on, Uranus went into Gemini on July 7th, 2025. So you could argue that was 777. Sydney Sweeney also has a 7 gift. What I'm really getting at is things can be fast. Something unexpected in your life can move very fast now. And we're in this current for about 8 years. So start thinking about it. What are you naming? What are you saying? Now, I don't know what Sydney Sweeney's practices are, but all of a sudden she did an advertisement, which is very short content information. Was it 15 seconds, And then Uranus uplifted that went completely viral. And then back to the quote civil war, where people have a fake civil war happening in America now because of just your algorithm. Uranus and Gemini is absolutely your algorithm of media. Okay. And all of a sudden there's people saying that this ad, oh, I have good genes. My genes are blue. People are allegedly imploding, right? I'm seeing ads that's propaganda. Like, come on. Like, we all know that's just insane. I don't care if you're the most progressive liberal political viewpoint on here. It's just like that. How did this turn into politics and now create a division in the United States? Now, some idiot, either as a joke or an intentional strategy, created this narrative that talking about your genes, I have really fair skin and I go out in the sun and I burn. My mother, she has really fair skin and she goes out in the sun and she burns, and she's very light and fair. And we were younger, we both had super light blonde hair. We have very light blue eyes. Oh my God, did I get that from my mother, right? Like, you're all adults here, you know that, but this narrative is cracking me up. And now it's like another dumb thing to create a divide. And now it's been politicized, like where the vice president is commenting on a blue jean commercial with like a sultry little bombshell girl, who, by the way, I'll get into it. I think she's actually a very talented actress, and I'll get into that a little bit on her chart. This sort of war, or quote civil war. Now, I know nobody's coming to fisticuffs over, a commercial, but when you have the vice president of America talking about it, and then news articles and then clips that have also gone viral it's a completely fake narrative, which I think is just started by strategy bots and it spreads. But the thing is, people right now, yourself included, all of us, be mindful. Don't become a victim of your algorithm where you're so insistent on what is true or untrue. Remember, this Uranus Gemini, with Pluto and Aquarius, all the masks are coming off. That was the Coldplay phenomenon. They couldn't hide they wanted their secret little affair at a concert. And who even knows were they having, if maybe they just got swept up in the beautiful Coldplay music. The point is that got exposed and it happened fast. Their lives disintegrated immediately and they became the two most famous people in America. That was the biggest thing. And that was Uranus and Gemini. Just flash, boom, look, Gemini is lies or it's truth. Your little lies came to light, came to truth. That was a very good manifestation. But now that a commercial about blue jeans with an actress is Right now, this is the biggest role she's ever had. Apparently, American Eagle, I think in one day grossed, like, their stocks went up. Somehow it was like a $250 million. It was something crazy. The point that I want to make is this divide, whether it's algorithm, but more importantly, what's the divide in your consciousness? The downside of Aquarian energy, which should be more community, Aquarius is tribalism. And again, that's what's happening. One more stupid thing to make a dumb divide. Do you like Coke or do you like Pepsi? They're both not good for you. This is a viral moment that is only going to blow her career up more. This is Uranus and Gemini. What's going to unexpectedly go viral through short content information? I'm sure she would rather to go big being, you know, some sort of Emmy, Oscar winning, you know, actress. It might be that her biggest moment is a commercial for very mid to low level jeans. I don't even think the jeans look good on her in the commercial. All of a sudden it's blown up like crazy. But I decided, well, let's look at her astrology chart. What would it say? Well, interesting enough, she has Jupiter in Aquarius in the third house. Well, Jupiter is big, expansive blessings and miracles. Aquarius, yeah, it's community, but it's technology. Aquarius is also TV. Uranus is actually television. Doesn't mean if you have Jupiter and Uranus, you're going to be a TV star. But I'm saying it's one level, it's technologies, and it's Neptune is film, or Pisces can be film, and Uranus / Aquarius can be TV. But here it is in the third house. Jupiter in the third house. Third house is media, and it's short media. It would be an advertisement. It would be social media, things like that. Well, Jupiter, big blessings there. So it's already sort of imprinted that she would have easy success, whether it's modeling, whether it's like print and advertisements, billboards, television. That's where she's having success. I'm sure she'll get a couple of movies, then who knows? Let's see if she holds it together. But her numerology says she'll hold it together at this point. And then her Uranus in Aquarius, she has Uranus in Aquarius in the second house. So how do you earn money? Well, on one level, that's TV. She also has a powerful Neptune, Capricorn, Moon Capricorn. She may build on this, really become a very successful producer even. So if she's smart, but I'll tell you, her chart, she's a lot smarter than people would think. Transiting astrology, she's having a flip node return. The North Node is in Pisces, and the South Node is in Virgo for the planet, okay? But her South Node is Pisces and her North Node is Virgo. So now that's coming in. This is a 9-year, I've talked about this. So this is a 9-year situation cycle for people. And it's usually a huge upgrade. Well, her career is blowing up right now, and it's going to blow up. But this just happened. This happened all as people are talking about this. So if you possibly have this flip node return every 9 years, which you would have to have a South Node in Pisces right now and a North Node in Virgo, that's a huge level up. It's a catalyst in a big, big way. And that's what's happening here. This also for her, she has this very interesting Lilith, which can be dark sexuality in Virgo, which is very calculated, meticulous, and accurate, conjunct her North Node, which is having a flip return, her North Node in Virgo and her Sun in Virgo. She's born September 12th, all in the 10th house. 10th house is your career. People with a sun in the 10th house are always going to be recognized and known. It doesn't matter. You could work in a small country diner somewhere in upstate New York out here, and you're going to be the star of that diner. Whether you're waiting tables, you're the hostess, you're the owner, host, whatever the case is. Or in this case, she's pretty destined to be quite famous. But what is she famous for? She's famous for a vulnerable dark sexuality. That's the Lilith there at the top of her chart, but conjunct her destiny. But it's all Virgo, which is actually very pure. Anybody out there being fooled, she knows. She also has Mercury in Virgo. That is very smart, very calculated, very aware, very precise, and very meticulous. So she knows what she's doing, and she knows she could play this sort of sultry bombshell, which also really plays into her character in Euphoria, because she was a teenager, she was bitter, there was some really good scenes. There was a great montage where she was really good, like the montage in the show as a little girl, she was really good at figure skating, and her dad was supporting it and paying for figure skating lessons. Like, wow, she has like real talent. And it was like, her and her dad was like rooting her on, and then her dad gets addicted to drugs and then can't afford the lessons and starts to convince her, maybe it's just skating isn't your thing. And the way they captured it so well, like your heart sank and you're like, oh God, especially with the addiction and then just totally kind of abandoning his daughter. And then she's kind of an effed up teenager who's very sexy. And that's that Lilith. She does that well. And then she also has, and then her Chiron and Venus are conjunct in Scorpio. They're like exactly, they're right next to each other. Chiron's your wounds. Chiron and Scorpio can be wounds around sexuality. Venus is your sexuality. Venus is in its detriment in Scorpio. And that can tell a dark tale around that. Hopefully there isn't a lot of dark issues, but man, can she play those characters well. Right, so there's always an aura that she projects of being like taken advantage of, abused in some way. And then she's able to play that to make it alluring. Like she's like submissive and clueless and sexy, right? And it's dark. She exudes a dark sexuality. She isn't like, even though she's a sun in Virgo, which is the sign of the Virgin, like prim and proper and can be beautiful and dignified. But I'm convinced, based on her chart, she absolutely knows what she's doing. But it's interesting that she has these aspects of even that Chiron conjunct Venus, which really could manifest as her own sort of self-doubt and insecurity, but she plays doubtful and insecure characters really well. At least Euphoria's, I saw her in White Lotus, but that's in her aura. You could see it. So I commend her for probably being very strategized with it, and I think she has talent. The 11th house is also could be like, it's the 11th house, 5th house. People joke it's the drama trauma. So that's trauma, okay? Trauma around appearance, looks, wounds, and deep sexuality. So the dark, very dark side of that is some level of victimhood. So she should be mindful because there might be people trying to take advantage of her in the sense, maybe agents and managers and contracts and stuff like that. So hopefully she has good representation here. Her 10th house, like where she's most seen is Lilith. That's like the dark feminine, the mysterious dark feminine. But it's in Virgo. You know, Virgo's, again, I think she's a lot healthier about it than we might think. Hopefully. I'm happy she's doing well. But right now, Pluto is on top of her Uranus, both in Aquarius. Just everything be unearthed. It's in the second house, which is money. I know this, if you don't know astrology as much, this might seem like a lot to follow. Her Pluto's moving through her second house with this unearthing new ways to make money right on her, literally conjunct her Uranus Aquarius, unexpected level ups and change. This can be a financial gold mine that can be a gift that keeps on giving back. Now let's look at her numerology. Before I do that, let me just say, so how are you going to use this? How are you going to stay open? How are you going to name things that are going to create and cause positive, big, unexpected changes in a good way for you? Or are you going to let this energy field? Are you going to be that angry person? My God, this is Nazi propaganda for your genes. Or this is great. America's back. Right-wingers love blonde bombshells. Like, don't be influenced. The problem is we're seeing people so susceptible. Like this, how this became a cultural phenomenon is probably just because we got so dark for a while at these forced agendas and how you have to speak and talk and what beauty is and things like that. Like, just shut the fuck up, everybody. Let's look at her numerology though. So she was born September 12th, 1997. She has a soul of 3, which is a leader, is a boss. She has to learn that. So she really has to come into her courage and power. I think she has. But 3 is also positive mind. I mean, acting in my experience is very hard. Some people are just gifted and memorize everything and lines, and 3 is the positive mind. So I'd say she's very sharp and probably a natural leader. And I think eventually she'll evolve into being some version of a big producer, or then her karma is 9. Well, she has to watch out for the sabotage. So she's going to have to work a little harder to hold the frequency. 9 is profoundly sensitive. It's the number of subtlety, your subconscious, the moon. And so 9 in your karma is where you need to apply more work and gain some mastery, because it often is going to manifest in the negative trajectory, which is just overly sensitive. I almost call it like a spiritual germaphobe, or like, you know, it's blowing everything out of proportion and being overly vulnerable and being just taken out by every wind that blows your way. But when used appropriately, it's maneuvering sagaciously, and it's accuracy, and it's a mastery of all systems. Someone with a 9 karma, which Sydney Sweeney has, you have to be more than one thing. You have to learn that you can integrate into anything, project your consciousness, and to figure anything out. And it can be like that saying, jack of all trades, but it's almost like a master of all trades. You're good at being good. And that's the lesson for her here. Her gift is a 7. The gift is just your natural divine talent. Well, 7 is beauty. It's Venus. It's elevation. She's clearly using the Venus looks part of it all. Hopefully she'll evolve and it's something that elevates others and brings others up and to their own confidence and self-worth and self-value. But there's a natural talent there, and which would make sense just to be young and to be getting some big roles that she has in some kind of legendary TV shows. Her experience is 8. Well, 8 is one of the gifts that keeps on giving. It's regenerative power. It could keep growing and going. So there's a lot of energy there. Your experience number is something you naturally have through really lifetimes. You have a natural ability through your own, well, the ability comes from your experience in it, the experience number. And so you're good at it. That also means you could be good at it at its negative side, but she's good at the bright side, which is building, like growing. Okay. 8 is the life force energy. So this will keep growing. This could keep expanding. And then she has a life path of 11. 11 is the infinite expansion of the universe. So for her, if she combines that 8 and that 11, this is not a flash in the pan. She is not going to be a moment. There's legs here and longevity, and this can be a gift that keeps on giving back. And 11 can be residual income. 11 is creating something, giving it off to the universe and letting it take orbit. Well, she did an ad and it went off to the universe, and boy, did it ever take orbit. People won't shut up about this. And now it's created a dumb cultural divide and ridiculous narratives around it. And it's a goddamn jean commercial ad for a mediocre brand of pants. But she has a really good chart. All right. And if she really steps into her power and authority and matures into that, she can create things and be a part of things that will keep on growing and going and giving. So how do you use that? Do you have an 11? What's your birthday? But again, use this Uranus and Gemini now, this Pluto and Aquarius. Take your masks off. Let it all be true and real. And don't succumb to your own media algorithm, because you're going to be more susceptible to being programmed, if you will. It's great brainwashing energy, but it also is a very cleansing, the positive brainwashing, cleansing everything and being true and taking off your own masks. Where are you lying to yourself? You're awesome and you have greatness and you have ability and you can do it.